Hello vegan adventurers, welcome to another exciting vlog. Today is our last day in Crete. Tomorrow we are flying back to Krakow, Poland, where we're also gonna explore the city, so let's get into the vlog. So here we're exploring the coastline near one of the small beaches near the town of Stavros, where we had accommodation, and I also went for a last long swim in the sea. So swimming in the sea or in the lake is one of my favorite summer activities because it's just too hot for other activities like running or cycling. And here we got to the other side of this half island and you can see these mountains near the town Stavros where we were hiking before, so you can check out that video. Here you can notice these bushes, how they're adapted to this dry weather, and they're really spiky and sharp and don't require much water throughout the year. And here we're enjoying our last sunset in Crete. And here we are the next day already at the airport looking at the mountains. So as I said in my previous vlogs, I would like to come here in the winter and hike all those higher mountains. Okay, here we are taking off, so let's summarize our one-week trip in Crete. It's definitely a great place for holiday. We have lots of options when it comes to beaches. Even for more adventurous people like us, there is a lot of options like cliff jumping, hiking and snorkeling. We can see the landscape again, which is really dry and it mostly looks like a desert. There's still growing watermelons and other melons for really affordable price. And here you can see the city of Chania, which we visited in one of our vlogs. And here we are flying over the beach that you actually saw earlier in this vlog. It's amazing to see the same landscape from a bird perspective. You see how the area closer to the sea looks really dry. Swimming in the sea was really nice, there was not any trash and it was pretty clear. Here you can see these half islands near Chania where we're hiking on one of our first days here. Check out that vlog. And I also heard there is amazing snorkeling near this island, but we didn't get to do that. And this is another big half island in Crete. So Crete is really big, around 200 kilometers long. So it will take you a pretty long time to explore everything. And here we see the beginning of mainland Greece. Greece is located at the crossroads of Europe, Asia and Africa. Situated on the southern tip of the Balkan Peninsula, it shares land borders with Albania, the northwest, North Macedonia and Bulgaria to the north and Turkey to northeast. Greece features a vast number of islands, between 1,200 and 6,000 depending on the definition, 227 of which are inhabited. Crete is the largest and most populous island. Euboea, separated from the mainland by the 60-meter wide Euripius Strait, is the second largest, followed by Lesbos and Rhodes. 80% of the Greece is mountainous, with Mount Olympus being the highest peak at 2,918 meters. The Aegean Sea lies to the east of the mainland, the Ionian Sea to the west, the Cretan Sea and the Mediterranean Sea to the south. Greece has the longest coastline on the Mediterranean basin and the 11th longest coastline in the world at 13,676 kilometers in length. Western Greece contains a number of lakes and wetlands and is dominated by the Pindus mountain range. The Pindus, a continuation of the Dinaric Alps, reaches a maximum elevation of 2,637 meters at Mount Smolikas, the second highest in Greece, and historically has been a significant barrier to east-west traveler. Extensive plains are primarily located in the region of Thessaly, Central Macedonia and Thrace. They constitute a key economic region as they are among a few arable places in the country. You see, as we are flying more north, there is more clouds and also the landscape is more greener. And here I believe we're flying through Slovakia, and here you can see the peaks of High Tatras mountains. Habitat loss from grazing livestock and feed crops is far and away the most pervasive threat to terrestrial animal species, impacting 86% of all mammals, 88% of amphibians and 86% of all birds. 1 in every 8 birds, 1 in every 3 amphibians and 1 in every 4 mammals is facing an extremely high risk of extinction in the near future. Overexploitation of wild animals for consumption remains the second major factor for extinction. Current biodiversity assessment now generally agree that land use change, modification of river flow, freshwater pollution and exploitation of marine environments are the most significant drivers of biodiversity change and loss of species. Because more than 50% of the land use changes on Earth are related to livestock, 70–90% of freshwater pollution in Western countries, particularly the US and China, can be traced back to animal agriculture. Minimally 14.5% of anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions, climate change, and 100% of exploitation of marine environments is related to the global commercial fishing industry. It can be safely and confidently demonstrated that the primary driver of global species extinctions and loss of biodiversity as animal agriculture. Okay, so here we landed at Krakow airport. My mom picked us up again, so we have time to explore the city of Krakow a little bit. Krakow is the second largest and one of the oldest cities in Poland. Situated on the Vistula River in the Lesser Poland region, the city dates back to the 7th century. Krakow was the official capital of Poland until 1596 and has traditionally been one of the leading centers of Polish academic, economic, cultural and artistic life. Cited as one of Europe's most beautiful cities, its old town was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Developed over many centuries, Krakow provides a showcase setting for many historic styles of architecture. As the city expanded, so too did the architectural achievements of its builders. It is for this reason that the variation in style and urban planning are so easily recognizable. Krakow's historic center, which includes the Old Town, Kazimierz and the Wawel Castle, was included as first of its kind on the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites in 1978. The Stare Miesto is the most prominent example of an old town in the country. The Wawel Castle. The Wawel Castle was built at the behest of King Casimir III the Great. It consists of a number of structures situated around the Italian-styled main courtyard. The castle, built one of the largest in Poland, represents nearly all European architectural styles of medieval, Renaissance and Baroque periods. The Wawel Royal Castle and the Wawel Hill constitute the most historically and culturally significant site in the country. For centuries, the residence of the kings of Poland and the symbol of Polish statehood, the castle is now one of the country's premier art museums. Established in 1930, the museum encompasses 10 curatorial departments responsible for collections of paintings, including an important collection of Italian Renaissance paintings, prints, sculptures, textiles, among them the Sigismund II Augustus tapestry collection, goldsmith works, arms and armor, ceramics, mason porcelain, and period furniture. The museum's holdings in Oriental art include the largest collection of Ottoman tents in Europe. With 7 specialized conservation studios, the museum is also an important center for the conservation of works of art. Over 1 million visitors tour the castle's permanent collections and temporary exhibitions each year, while an estimated 2 million visit the Wawel Hill. Mieszko I was the first historical ruler and creator of the Polish state who chose the Wawel Hill as the site of one of his residencies. His baptism in 1966 brought Poland into the orbit of Western culture. The bishopric of Krakow was established in 1000 and the first cathedral on Wawel Hill was built. Wawel experienced its golden age from the 14th through 16th century under the last Piast kings and the Jagiellonian dynasty, who transformed the now too small medieval castle into one of the finest Italianate Renaissance palaces in Central Europe. Old Town attracts visitors from all over the world. Krakow Historic Center is one of the 13 places in Poland that are included in the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The architectural design of the district had survived all the cataclysms of the past and retained its original form coming from the medieval times. The Old Town of Krakow is home to about 6,000 historic sites and more than 2 million works of art. And here you can see a magician, one of the many street performers who are making their living on the streets of Krakow. The rich variety of heritage architecture includes Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque buildings. Krakow's palaces, churches, theaters and mansions displayed great variety of color, architectural details, stained glass, paintings, sculptures and furnishings. Okay, we had enough of exploring the Krakow and we're heading back to Slovakia and enjoying the sunset and the Polish countryside. Here you can see a typical architecture of Polish houses with this interesting roof and multiple stories. When it comes to Poland environment, I thought they don't have many forests because there are not many hills, and I thought that animal agriculture is really big here, but they actually have 28% of the country forested, which is quite a lot considering the size of the country and how flat it is. In comparison, the Switzerland, which is really hilly, has only about 31% of its land forests, which is most likely from a free-range cattle that's really popular in Switzerland. But the animal agriculture is definitely one of the biggest reasons of the deforestation. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Stay tuned for one more adventure from Slovakia before we travel back to Serbia. And as always, stay healthy and stay adventurous.